So we do have some non-negotiables. One that we don't list on the website is that we don't lie. That doesn't mean that we volunteer every single last bit of information. So you don't need to know that somebody farted behind the scenes, but that's we never misrepresent what we're doing at any level, either at the top level of explaining what we're doing or with delivering the products or the quality of the products. That doesn't mean we'll never make a mistake. It means that when something goes wrong, whether it was our fault or not, that we explain exactly what's happening. And we're human, we fail. We don't always do the absolute perfect job of communicating, but that is what we attempt, is to never lie and always communicate everything that needs to be communicated, positive or negative. And I think that's the only way that we can build and hold trust, is by holding ourselves to that level of accountability. Alongside that is that I've seen in my career before starting this company, lots of science that's come through, lots of products that have been released that all had positive effects. Lots of other ones that didn't do anything, but plenty that had positive effects that were for really important outcomes, but they didn't translate into something that was going to happen in the real world because they failed some criteria. That it was either unaffordable, that yes, it may be a good thing, but if it costs a farmer $10,000 a hectare, then they can't really do it unless someone else pays for it. And if you start doing $10,000 a hectare over all the hectares in Australia, then we run out of money real quick. It has to be practical. Let's say that it is affordable, but you need a special bit of equipment to spread it, and it takes a whole day per hectare, or even much less than that, like 3 hours per hectare. It might not be achievable. Farmers in general are very time poor, usually labor poor, and thought poor. The processing space. Farms are incredibly complex beasts to run. You've got all these external factors like government regulation, what the community thinks, what help is available to you, what the current price of inputs are, what the current price of your products are, and then this amazingly variable and complex beast called a soil that you're working with. Soils are incredibly difficult to work with. So if you're trying to fit another idea into your head, that's a big ask. So it needs to be practical in that regard as well. It has to fit into the brain space of someone who's doing this incredibly difficult job of managing a farm. It has to be easy and practical to transport and apply it to the soil. We specifically designed Carbon Boost this way, that it was a low total per hectare output, and then it could go out through a boom spray or drip irrigator or any type of way of applying water to soil, that it would work for all of them, which means that farmers didn't have to come up with a new piece of equipment or get access to a very expensive contractor who knows that everyone wants them. It had to just go through something you already had on the farm without modifying at all. So it had to be practical and affordable. And the other criteria, once those have been met, because it doesn't matter how good it is, if it's farmer can't afford to do it and that they can't afford the brain space or the labor to do it, then it's not going to happen. And that's completely fair enough. Doesn't matter how good it is. And the other thing is that from our perspective, when we're doing it, and this may or may not be important to a customer, but it is to us, is that can what we're doing be done forever? And by that, I mean true sustainability. If we were to have everyone using this type of product, whether it's us or not, over the course of the next 1,000 years, of the next 50 years, of the next 10,000 years, well, something happen that means that we've either run out of a resource or that some other really negative thing has happened that means that we can't do it anymore. And so you could argue those sort of things are happening with some types of chemical fertilizer, particularly the way we currently use them. But for us to put a product out, the answer has to be yes. I'm sure you could come up with some fanciful thing like aliens come and they really take offense to it, so it means you can't do it forever. Something that's actually likely to happen. Can we do it forever without any net negative impact to farmers or the environment? And the answer is resounding yes, so far as we can tell. We can always improve, but the concept of it, like we're currently using fossil fuels because we don't have the current ability to supply all of our energy and transport needs without fossil fuels. And so that part is not 100% sustainable, but the actual product can be made with zero emissions, even negative emissions, which we're taking a step towards each time we change something. So that means that it can be done forever. So with Carbon Boost, we have, well, it's hard for me personally to say that I have 100% confidence because I can always think of something that might go wrong, but that's in my anxious brain. As a company, we have 100% confidence in it, and in my rational brain, I have 100% confidence in it that the product works. So we're not compromising our promise not to ever lie or mislead. It's practical. It can be transported really long distances, thousands of kilometers, and be put out through standard equipment, and it's affordable. It doesn't cost very much per hectare compared to a lot of things. And then it's made using a process that can be done with negative emissions and doesn't have any net negative environmental outcome that we can think of that can't easily be managed. So it ticks all those boxes for our own internal rules. And it's up to you whether you also care about any of those rules, but that is what we hold ourselves to before we do anything.